I look at my friends that I used to hang about with, and they're going deeper into things that they shouldn't be. You know, they're hurting people that they shouldn't be for money, basically for money. And it's sad really to see your friends which you used to go to school with or you used to laugh with now doing all sorts of crazy things just because they have no guidance, and they can't see what I'm trying to do with my life. They can't see that I'm only trying to change to be a better person, because when they look on the TV they see there's a war going on, so they see that and they think that's how I am. They think I'm going to do that sort of stuff. They think I'm going to be a terrorist or whatever, but I'm not. That's not what Islam teaches. It doesn't teach about bombings or anything like that. When you read the Quran, you feel so peaceful in yourself. You feel like you're reading, it's like an angel's reading to you. That's how I feel. And that's basically my story. That's my life story.
Thank you all for very moving individual stories of the journey to Islam. We'd like to give everyone the opportunity here to ask any questions. No holds barred, please feel free, and you can by all means address your questions to any particular member on the panel or all of them. Do you have any questions? Lars? You have a question?
I don't have a specific question, although I never raised a hand or anything, but it does amazes me that with so much propaganda and stories and half-truths about Islam, it really truly amazes me that in such environment, how can someone find truth? So, if someone can answer this, how do you come to this? If one of the brothers can answer this.
Lewis, do you want to comment? We'll get.
Basically, there were certain things in my life which did trigger me to question what I was being told in the media. One of them was that I was due to go on holiday, and I lost my passport, and my family actually got on the plane to go, and I was the only person that wasn't able to go on the plane. And because of that, well, actually not because of that, at the time there was a bomb threat on the plane, and I thought that was, the end of it. They called me, said, "Oh, we're not going on holiday no more, there's been a bomb threat." So then, 3 months later, I woke up with police knocking at my door, and I was arrested as the only suspect for a bomb threat. And the whole process of going through that, going through an interview, and the police playing a tape and saying, can you repeat what the guy says on the tape while we record it? And I said, no. In the end, I was under so much pressure, I did do it. And then they said to me, can you repeat what you said, but can you put more emphasis into it? Like, can you make it sound a bit more real? And I said no. And then I was on bail for 6 months, and then it came out in the Daily Echo 6 months later that a man had been found. He had actually come forward. He felt guilty about it, and he was jealous his wife was going on holiday. So I was cleared on Christmas Eve, actually. It was a very stressful time, And it was actually that event which pushed me, while I was at uni, to then start drinking and things like that, the pressure of that. But it also made me question, because at the time there was the anti-terror laws coming in place where you can be held for 3 months or something like that without any evidence. There's people being scooted off to Guantanamo Bay, and I thought, wait a second, if I was Muslim, I wasn't at the time, I just say that, but if I had been, I would have probably been scooted off to Guantanamo Bay, or, you know, had some pretty bad treatment in the police cell. And my innocence wouldn't have been wouldn't have been in question. I would have been immediately thought of as guilty, I'm sure of it, because everything in the media at the time was saying, you know, Muslims are terrorists, you know, and it really made me question the reality of what was being said in the media. And there was other things going on at the same time, like I think one of the people that was said to be in the Twin Towers thing, they found his passport at, you know, a small part of his passport at the Twin Towers, but he actually was still alive and living somewhere, Birmingham or something like that, and he was saying, wait a sec, that weren't me on the plane, I'm still here. Yeah. So there was inconsistencies in the story that, you know, all Muslims are terrorists, and I was kind of knocked out of this kind of mind frame of thinking, yeah, they're all bad, look at them all, you know. And the other thing was, like Arshad said, travelling abroad and meeting Muslim people. I became very ill in Egypt, and it was Muslim people which basically saved my life. And Westerners that were travelling with me and my friends were just, basically they left me. They wouldn't have cared if I had died, you know what I mean? And so I really thought about our society and what was being told to us through the media about Islamic society and its Islamic values. That's it, basically.
Steve, do you want to?
Yeah, similar in a lot of ways to what Lewis said. I suppose the single most powerful thing was you know, the example of individuals. You know, despite what the media says, I remember going on a holiday in Tunisia a long time before I became a Muslim, and you know, we were out in the desert, in the middle of nowhere, and the sun's going, you know, the sun's on the way down, and you saw this old guy get off his donkey and, you know, start praying and stuff. And I thought, I can't imagine in the UK that people would stop their work, you know, in our sort of Western culture, to pray, you know, at the end of their day. And this was just a peasant going about his business, but it was such an important part of his life. And that sort of image sort of burns its way into your head. But also, you know, in the 80s, I was quite active in CND in those days, you know, in the sort of anti-nuclear thing. And I knew that the police used to do a few dodgy things with our sort of mailboxes and things like this at the time. And I suppose that led to a similar sort of distrust of what we were hearing from the powers that be when they start saying about Islam is evil and Islam is bad. And you think, well, you know, the Berlin Wall's fallen, there's no more Cold War anymore, they need a new bogeyman, you know, and like, who should we nail it on this time? Oh, that's okay. Islam is a nice convenient excuse to sort of align all the power of the West against. So I suppose it's that sort of combination of distrust and seeing that personal testimony of good pious Muslims living good lives, and seeing what they do.
Yes.
My question is not really directed at anyone in particular, but do you think it's possible to abide by a good, non-hedonistic moral code in your life without the guidance of, say, a religion or a moral code from, you know, a prophet or something?
Yeah, I think it's possible to abide by a moral code, yeah. But that in all Islam presents a moral code in which you're submitting your will and your ego to God, and it also presents guidance. So you might be able to avoid, you know, the hedonistic consumerism lifestyle, but it's pretty damn hard. I tried it for a long while. Until I was 24 years old, I hadn't drunk alcohol. I hadn't done any of the things which I did once I went to uni, basically, and it was difficult. It was a life of not quite knowing what good and evil is, not having parameters or guidance, kind of finding my way through.